Hey there, Starcraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of Starcraft Brood War Remastered. And today, it's a very special Sunday series. It's going to be Jaedong versus Rain in a series of games that I got from TeamLiquid.net. It's not necessarily a best of 5 or a best of 7 or anything, but we'll keep track of the score anyway. Right side of the map is the white Protoss player. It is Rain. And in the top left-hand corner, you know him and love him. He is Teal, he is Zerg, and he is Jaedong. You see how that drone got hung up on that egg? Man, I'm replaying through the StarCraft campaign, StarCraft 1 right now, actually, going into Brood War soon, in the Carbot animation skin out on twitch.tv/FalconPaladin right now. By the way, give me a follow out there if you're interested. And boy, howdy, there are a lot of things that are about playing Brood War and playing StarCraft 1 especially. They're just like, man, quality of life is not something that is super high. It's way better than previous RTS games, and that's why it's a classic. Like, compared to Dune and other stuff that came out before this, it's so much better. But boy, howdy, just like getting units to respawn. Like, look where this drone just went. Just all the way in there. And then Jaedong was like, no, get all the way back over here, stupid. I need to put you to work. Ah, so dang frustrating for Zerg especially. Just seems laggier and jankier. Although Reavers, man. Reavers lag like all get out. You got a Reaver here and you're like, go this way, Reaver. And it's like, oh, hang on. You want me to go this way? I know it's been 4 seconds, but okay. That's why you have shuttles for Reavers, because they are the slowest responding, slowest moving, dumbest units in the entire game. They hit like trucks, right? They hit like trucks, but they're incredible. And by incredible, I mean they're really bad at certain things. Ooh, I know what this map is now. The name of the map's in Korean on the loading screen, and I'm like, I don't speak Korean, nor do I read it. I could probably recognize Fighting Spirit at this point if all I had was the Korean characters for Fighting Spirit. But at this point, anything else, I am just at a complete loss. So, I've cast a game on this map before. I have no idea what it's called, but it's one that has the eggs on these ramps, which workers can get through for scouting purposes, but getting anything else through it is impossible without killing the eggs, which takes some time because they have armor. Yada, 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 yada. Yeah, I've definitely cast games on this map before. I mean, this is hatch first in it out of Jaedong. Just absolutely unworried about any early aggression out of the Protoss player here, although there is a Zealot on the way here from Rain, so we'll keep an eye on that sucker. Just hatch first into pool, which again means metabolic boost is not going to be here anytime soon. Out of Jaedong, we've seen this done before against Protoss player, just more of a defensive style build rather than something he wants to go ahead and kill the opposing Protoss fast with. So, scouting the bottom left, nothing there. You can go up there, right? I was under the impression you can go up that thing if you're a probe, or, you know, a drone or an SCV. Anyway, this is wide open. Like, this is totally fine. You can attack this. It's not like it's a no rush map or anything. But there are certain places where your third base is fairly well protected from any early harassment, and Jaedong is taking advantage of that. That's why we don't have the gas. He's going for a hatch, pool, hatch build, which again, going to be pretty darn economic, which, considering the fact that Rain gets a free expansion too, makes a ton of sense. There have been maps like this in StarCraft 2 as well, where your natural is basically free. You don't have to defend it at all, except just defend your front door, right? And you have a free natural base to harvest from. And on those maps, Zerg players definitely want to take a quick third because their Protoss and Terran opponents will be on 2 bases. And if you're on 2 bases versus a 2-basing Protoss or Terran, you're just going to die. So Jaedong very intelligently recognizing what map he's on and going for the quick third base. And he should be fine, honestly. I mean, again, Rain can't really do much to punish it. He's not trying to either. This is not a Bisu style build where you just flood the enemy Zerg player with Zealots. And I haven't seen that work against Jaedong yet, but it doesn't mean it's never worked. And again, these are shorter games, okay? These are not like, I'm not going to cast 5 or 6 30-minute long games here. This is going to be a series of games. I don't know how many there are going to be. It's just from a big old folder of Jaedong versus Rain. I figured 2 very popular players. Rain more so in the current era, Jaedong a bit from the older era, but still. 2 players' names that you're going to know. See, look at this. Look how long it takes to kill this thing. It's like every 3 hits, it goes down in HP. With multiple Zerglings, sure, you'll kind of get there eventually, I guess. But yeah, he really wants this back door open so we can get in here and murder this stuff. But guess what? There's a set here. There's a set here. There's a set here. And there's a set here. So, oh my gosh. That is such a pain. Ooh. You're going to throw up cannons? That'd be cool. Cannons up here are actually kind of mean. I've seen Protoss do that before on this map, but not in this particular situation. Not today, anyway, as there's not a forge at all from Rain. Just going for a Stargate, going for a Citadel of a Dune. Feels like maybe a Dark Templar Corsair style play. See how long these guys have been working on this egg, and it's going to go down soon. Ugh, and there it goes. Jaedong's like, man, that took 47,000 hits for my Zerglings to get through. True fact, it is intended to be that way. Probe gets in for the scout, sees there's a lair coming up, sees a Hydralisk den and a macro hatch out here. So we're 4-hatching it if we're Jaedong today, which is nice. I do love a 4-hatch economy for Zerg, especially at the 5-minute mark of a game. That's just, ooh, this is high level Jaedong stuff right now. His army consists of, I think, 4 Zerglings. There are 3 here, and there's 1 chasing this probe around. Remember how I said about Metabolic Boost was going to be late? Metabolic Boost is late. Look at how late it is. He's not even doing it now. He's like, Zerglings don't need speed. Zerglings are fine slow, which is not true, but if you're not planning on making a ton of Zerglings, alright, it's fine. You don't have to get speed. Actually, Templar Archives on the way now, and a Corsair. So this feels more like Archons rather than Dark Templar. Although, again, definitely could be that as well. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what Rain is up to. One of the things that I still get mixed up in my mind between StarCraft 2 and Brood War is what buildings you need for Dark Templar. And in Brood War, it's definitely just a Templar Archives. And in StarCraft 2, it is a Dark Templar, wow. Brain, all sorts of messed up. I can't remember what it's called in StarCraft 2 right now. It is a Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is what it's called. Meanwhile, Corsair cruising around. There should, yep, Dark Templar on the way. There should be, there we go. There's a Hydralisk. Hydralisk just enough to chase the Corsairs away. It takes them forever to kill Overlords, especially if there's just 2 of them. And only a couple Overlords there. So defending exceptionally well here. Those Hydras came out at perfectly the right time here to handle it without question. Metabolic Boost now on the way. Lurker Den and a Spire coming up from Jaedong. And just Dark Templar and Corsairs are the order of the day today for Rain. So it's effectively 3 base to 2 base. I'm going to set up for a 3rd base here now. Rain. I mean, I assume... Yeah, he's got a... He's protecting this back door. Can he see this? He can now. The Corsairs have provided vision. So he knows Lings are trying to knock these eggs down. He's actually helping them by knocking down that 2nd set, interestingly enough. Corsairs coming on up. What are we gonna see? Answer is... a lot of Hydralisks, which just not going to work out, guys. Corsairs are not going to do much here. And honestly, Lurker's pretty fantastic against this opening, just because there's not much that can handle them. You're not going to have Storm, as you're definitely spending a ton of your gas on Dark Templar. Dark Templar, turns out, aren't that great versus Lurkers in general. DT's really good at killing these eggs, though. Watch them take these down. They're way better than Zerglings are. Holy crap. Yeah, hitting big swings that hit hard and not very often are what you want against these eggs, because armor comes into play on every single swing. And if you have a million swings, armor comes into play on every one of those. Corsairs, Scourge though. Yeah. 2 of the Corsairs go down. DTs are going to sneak their way eventually in. Wait, hold on. This one, get the hatchery. I guess the Corsair is busy being chased by Scourge over that way, but. Scourge are just waiting for that to come back on out. This DT is not attacking that for some reason. This one either, honestly. I'm not sure where Rain's mind is right now. He is making stuff. See, big hits from Sunkens. Whoop, bam. Whoop, bam. Oh, I bet they're waiting for it to finish and then they're going to kill it. Rain. That's such a mean move. Look at that. Instantly jumps on top of it once it's done, so Jaedong can't cancel it. Lings and the Lurkers cruising on down to try to take down... Oh, Free Dragoon, that natural base of Rain's. Can they save it? Hydralisks are coming. Remember, DT's hit hard. What? Trying to march around the outside. Maybe kill the Hydras. Nope, takes 3 swings to take down a Hydralisk. Not bad. No, drone killing that DT, though. And you're not going to get it. Good try, though. Good effort here, Rain. Another drone goes down. Maybe that was the first one. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah. Lings up top here, basically saying you cannot take this base without dealing with this Zerg army right now. That's fine. Rain says, I already have a third base down here, you crazy person. We're going to desperately try to snipe down this hatch with Zealots and with Dark Templar. And you know what? We're going to do okay with it. Actually, he's going to get this thing. He's going to get this thing. Oh, the drones taking down another DT. Oh, the infamy with which those Dark Templar will return to the call. How did you die? What? A drone killed me. Oh, wow, that's really sad, man. How did you die? Next Dark Templar that comes in. Like 6 drones killed me. Oh, well, better, I guess. But man, you guys, you need to do better out there. There is no honor in getting killed by a drone. Goodness. All right, so Zealot hanging in there. He's got 2 kills, which is not bad. Killing a bunch of Zerglings. He did take down that hatchery. There's an egg in the way of the expansion attempt here from Jaedong. He wants to rebuild this base, but there's an egg in the way. Hate that. That's actually a quality of life improvement in StarCraft 2 that recently just came about. Is eggs that are produced after a hatchery dies will not be in the way of replacing that hatchery. StarCraft 2, little quality of life stuff in there. I understand most of you guys watching this do not care about StarCraft 2, but some of you do. Some of you are like me, and you like all StarCraft, no matter what kind it is. We do not discriminate between StarCraft Brood War and StarCraft the 2. Lurkers, ready to harass a little bit, but that cannon count says lurkers are not getting down that ramp. You can harass, right? Unless you drop where? Where are you going to drop is my question. Or maybe you're just going to go back home and you don't want to walk. I don't know, man. These are empty overlords. There's not much down here. They're going to try to harass on this high ground. Scourge! Oh, the cannon saves the Corsair. That range was insane. But Storm. Okay, well, I was going to say, pretty good positioning by the Lurkers here. The Dragoons cannot hit them. And you can harass that Assimilator a teeny tiny bit. I mean, eventually you'll kill it with that Lurker, but not for some time, honestly. All right, so replacing the 4th base here. Jaedong. Working on, well, he's still got a lair. He is working on upgrades across the board here for all of his stuff. Got Singularity Charge coming in here from Rain, too. Oh, Lurker does end up going down. I think that was probably another Storm. You there. Got a kill? Yes. Probably you there. Mr. High Templar. His name is Bob. Bob the High Templar. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Burrow. Burrow. It doesn't matter if he burrows because he's still... he knows he's dead. It's cool. Totally cool, I guess. These drones need to get to work. Come on, Jaedong. Where's your attention, bro? He's sad about losing his 4th base, is what he is right now. All right, Dragoons are pushing out here. We got Lings, we got Lurkers. These drones need to... I am shocked these drones have not gotten to work here. I've never seen Jaedong ignore drones for this length of time that he has made. Okay, so now he's transferring over to his 4th base to fully saturate that sucker, getting gas. Both players moving out at roughly the same time, which is always fun when they're like, oh, hey, fancy meeting you out here. I was just on my way to kill your base. And the Protoss says, oh, yeah, well, that's really funny. I was doing the exact same thing. I think Seinfeld has a bit about this, actually. I hear Lurkers burrowing in, but, you know, you don't have to engage into the Lurkers if you don't want to, if you're out in the middle of the map. There's no reason to do that. As Rain recognizes, he's going to try to kill this 4th base again, which is probably going to work here. Jaedong cruising around. Losing a couple of Lurkers for effectively nothing, which is really bad news for him. Storm coming up and killing a Lurker. Not much other damage done there, but man, Zealot at the front lines there does not actually die somehow. Storm on top of everything, though. Dragoons fighting. Scourge taking down the Observer. Detection is not gone because there's a backup Observer here for Rain because he's really smart that way. Guess who took a base up this way, though? Yeah, that's right. That is correct. Jaedong did. He's right up above Rain's natural base, which is hilarious and fantastic. But look who's winning this battle right now. The Dragoons with their +1 attack. Making stuff happen. Lurkers getting picked out of the ground. Only a +1 armor done here for the ranged units, and I think that might be your ball game, Rain. Taking a game off Jaedong to start our Sunday series here. I mean, it's double the supply. There you go. Good game. You can feel it. You can feel it when time is up on these games, when someone is just, they've tried and they've tried, and it's just not enough. You know what I mean? I do. All right. Fantastic. Great game number 1 there. Geez, it really just came down to one big push, didn't it? I mean, delaying the 4th base was huge. Never actually lost a base of his own was nice from Rain. Did not allow the harassment to come from this high ground to this low ground. Had enough cannons to defend it successfully. Did allow this base, but again, this 4th was late and canceled and straight up killed. And then he just comes in with a 12-kill Archon. Good grief. A 12-kill Archon. Kills all the lurkers because there's no Dark Swarm, because for some reason Jaedong didn't have Dark Swarm yet. Did he even have a Defiler around? He did not. He kind of... I've seen him rush lurkers or Defilers before, not in this game. Really going macro style, and was just not ready for this attack. So everybody's mortal. Jaedong is mortal, and Rain is really good. Really good at Starcraft. So let's check out the score here on game number 1. We'll get into game 2 after that. But 69,000 points for Jaedong, and just kidding, for Rain, and 59,000 for Jaedong. That makes more sense. 107 units killed by Rain. Wow. And only lost 30. That is some good ratio right there. And then resources in favor of Jaedong in spent and total gas mined. A little bit more minerals mined here, but the cost efficiency of the Protoss units are what won this game. It was the fact that the Dragoons each had 3 or 4 kills, 2, 3, 4 kills there. Zealots taking out several units there too, and that Archon with 12 kills at the end of the game. And just the fact that, I mean, Lurkers without Dark Swarm are just not as good. Not as good against the composition that we are seeing there. Heavily Dragoon out of the Protoss player. So game 1 is in the books. Officially, we'll just go ahead and say Rain has a 1-0 lead in this whatever series it is. And stick with it. We'll be back in just a second for game number 2. It's Central Plains, the name of this map. All right, cool. So game 2 of our little whatever it is between Jaedong and Rain is going to be on Central Plains again. I figure these are just practice matches, but I don't know. I kind of like watching Jaedong versus Rain. Right side of the map is the Protoss player. He is red this time. It is Rain. And in the bottom left-hand corner, it is the teal Zerg player, Jaedong. So he's in a different spot here this time. Seems like a 3-player map based on the spawn locations in the first couple games. There's a big old S in the middle too, which you actually should be able to see. Let's try that. Aha! See? There's a dragon here. It looks like Trogdor. Trogdor the Burninator has made his home on this map. And yeah, otherwise I think we pretty much saw everything else we needed to in game number 1. All bases have these little things that lead to an easy to take third base as long as you can deal with those. Eggs, the natural bases are all easily accessible, fairly hard to wall off, but overall not much of a problem. And yeah, just big, wide open spaces here, man. I mean, I guess technically these are barriers you can kind of use to keep it between you and your enemy, but otherwise, big, wide open area in the middle there. So let's go ahead and turn that back off because you guys hate it when I forget to turn it back on, the Fog of War. But yeah, here we are. Hey, speaking of other stuff that's going on in the Falcon Paladin universe, you know there's a podcast, weekly podcast with myself and Summicron, an Australian. We talk about Starcraft, we talk about TV shows and movies and books and music and weird, just not weird stuff, more mainstream stuff, honestly. I guess there's some lesser known anime that we talk about there too, but anyway, just, yeah, totally nerd culture stuff. If you're interested in that stuff and, you know, want to listen to Extra Falcon Paladin on your commute or when you're mowing the lawn or shoveling snow or whatever you're doing this time of year, wherever you are. Is anybody shoveling snow in July? I mean, I guess if you're in, like, the Arctic, you are, but otherwise, I just don't see it happening. I'm going to get a comment from someone who's like, Falcon, I live in the very southern tip of Chile, and we get snow in July, and I'll be like, I am so very sorry. People that live in the mountains in Chile, that is your snow season, I get it. But relatively speaking, not that many people live that south of the equator, except in the very southern Antarctica continent. Anyway, that is another hatch first here out of Jaedong into yet another pool. And sometimes in these practice matches, it really just comes down to, hey, Rain, I'm going to go ahead and do this same build over and over and over, and I want you to try to counter it. Or I want to see if this build will counter what you're doing, if you do the same build over and over and over, and kind of try to refine stuff and use each other to figure out StarCraft and how it works. So, that probe, man, playing with fire. Oh, I feel like one more shot could have killed that dude. Definitely could have. But anyway, throwing up the third hatch anyway. Chink. There we go again. So same build as last time. Hatch, pool, hatch. Assume an extractor is going to come up here soon for the Zerg player, Jaedong. And by that I mean, I'm fairly sure it's going to come up, but I have no guarantees. None whatsoever. I haven't seen this any more than you have. Actually, somebody probably has already seen this. Actually. You know, looking at the view count for some of my rain casts, it doesn't seem like you guys are all that much into rain. Even if Jaedong's involved. Like, I did a 27-minute Jaedong versus Rain back in February of this year. Got 13,000 views. Which, I mean, sure, it's not Flash versus Jaedong, but I mean, really? You guys don't respect Rain? Or are you here for games from players you don't see as much anymore that you remember from the olden times? Is this just a nostalgia channel for y'all? That I understand. I totally get nostalgia. Because, yeah, Rain's an incredible player, but he's just not ranked among those people who were incredible back in, you know, 2002. Maybe he was. Somebody's going to be like, Falcon, Rain's been playing since 1999. And I'll be like, what? That's impossible. How is he still so good? So that's probably not the case. Anyway, there is the gas. There is the macro hatch. Yeah, Jaedong doing the darn near same build again here on Central Plains. Anything different here at all from Rain? No, definitely not. Just got the Zealots. Stargate opening. He's worried about Ling pressure, even though he really doesn't have much of a reason to be. Slow Lings are, again, the worst units in the game of Starcraft. They are terrible in every aspect. This probe, oh, it's a new probe. New probe scouting around. The other one might have gotten picked off by a drone defending his homeland. Do any of you drones have kills? Maybe the one that has a kill got turned into an extractor or something, in which case we'll never know. Dun, 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 dun. So I'm casting this about a week in advance. Oh, did I mention where you can find the Falcon Paladin hour? No. Just search Falcon Paladin on your podcast app. Whatever it is. If you don't have a podcast app, you're probably not a podcast listener, so maybe this is not for you, but you have a podcast app on your phone. Whether it's an iPhone or whether it's an Android, if you search a podcast, there's some kind of an app on there that came with your device that you can search for Falcon Paladin on and find me. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Anyway, I'm casting this a week in advance. I try to keep a week buffer up. So I just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the latest Tarantino film. Went and saw that immediately before coming to cast this for you guys. And it was good. It was an interesting movie in that it's Tarantino's... It's a love letter to the city of LA, especially in the 60s and into the early 70s when Hollywood really started to transform and become a different thing than what it used to be. So it's a time of change. It's kind of, there's a sense of loss to it. I'm not going to spoil anything else about the film, but if you're expecting Django, it is not Django. If you're expecting Inglourious Bastards, it is not Inglourious Bastards. It is closer to Jackie Brown, I would say. If you're looking for a Tarantino equivalent, it's definitely going to be closer to Jackie Brown than either of those two. All right, that's all I'm going to say. Zerglings cruising across the map, trying to see, is there in fact a third nexus at this point in the game? And the answer is absolutely not, although there definitely could be a robotics facility opening here. Did we see that? I guess we saw observers in the last game, so that makes sense. Robotic support bay. Okay. So this feels definitely more like Reaver drop action. But once again, the Corsairs show up, and once again, there are Hydralisks, and once again, that Overlord does get picked up, or never mind. That's the first time an Overlord has actually died during this initial attack. The Hydra is not quite enough to save the day. A little bit too late to the party there. Where are the rest of the Overlords? Here's one that is a little bit overextended out here, protected by absolutely no one, but the Corsairs are not interested in trying to kill him anyway there. Lurker aspect on the way, Spiral on the way, first Reaver in production here from Rain. So yeah, Reaver drop action in the play. Reaver's so good against Lurkers, and that's what we're seeing again. Lurker aspect from Jaedong, along with Aspire. So I mean, just trying to deal with the Corsairs. I imagine that's going to be Scourge. Probably not going to see Mutalisk attempts here, but Mutas are pretty good against Reavers, all things considered. Did I tell you I am playing through the StarCraft 1 Carbot skin campaign, and man, there's a mission where they give you Guardians for the first time, and I was like, I'm making all of the Guardians. And then suddenly there were like 5 scouts, and I was like, oh, I didn't bring any anti-air for those scouts, and I lost almost all of my Guardians. It was a tragedy. It was a tragedy in 2019, I can tell you that. Additional Corsairs coming. Corsair count a little bit higher than it used to be this early in game number 1, but that's all right. Reaver's coming down for base defense as a third base gets thrown up here for Rain. Is he working on air weapons? He sure is, and faster shuttle movement, which makes sense because, again, Reavers are terrible. exceptionally bad. Oh boy. Here we go. I just... Zerglings versus Reavers, man. If you can time it to where you get one Ling up and he takes a Scarab shot, and then you jump on top of the Reaver with all your other Lings, go ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, and try to kill it real fast. Sometimes that works out, but man, other times... Jaedong's getting supply blocked into next week. Where are his Scourge? Here's one. Actually, 4. So it's not enough to kill all of these Overlords, that's for sure. But enough to chase them away. Enough to chase the Corsairs away anyway. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you try that and then another Scarab comes out and everybody dies. So, yeah, not super duper mega great here. Lurkers are going to try to... Look at, again, big hits, big swings for big damage. The eggs are not a problem for early stuff like Zealots and Zerglings. Hard time getting through these eggs. Oh, 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 oh. That is a cannon. Gonna try to come up. It's not gonna finish here. And suddenly, I think Rain is in a little bit of trouble. All of a sudden, he's got the cannons defending the third base as usual, but... Oh, the Reaver drops. The Reaver drops getting some damage there. Good pull of the drones, but this is actually not as good. Couple more go down. One more goes down. The Reaver's like, hey, nothing's actually trying to kill me right now. Sweet. I'm going to get another shot in here if you don't mind. Couple more. I mean, this is just a really super cost-efficient attack here. Lurker trying to come down this ramp. Once again, the cannons just say nothing about it here. Ugh. More drones. Another drone goes down. This is just ridiculous play out of Rain. He is taking Jaedong to school right now. And Jaedong... He's down 77 to 47 overall supply. He's lost a ton of drones. He can't do anything to shut down this third base of Rain. And he taps out. Try to get a Lurker down on the low ground. No, said the cannon. Lurker on the high ground. Great, that's fine. But, I mean, overall, you're still in a rough spot. Again, this is just shuttle drop. Reaver comes out, gets this group. And then, I mean, we are just... kind of ghost towning it for workers right now, aren't we, Jaedong? There's a whole group here, but all of them are in Scarab range, and I think Jaedong recognized that. Said it is time to get out of here. Thank you very much. So Reaver drop opening instead of Storm and Archons this time worked out super well, and Rain gets a nice little 2-0 win. Or win. 2-0 lead anyway. We're not done yet. Good grief. Why would we be done? Honestly. We're not. Okay? Okay, fantastic. Anyway, overall score here, it's going to be 28,000 to 23,000 in favor of Rain. And then just units killed here is 45 to 8. 45 to 8. Ow. As a Zerg player, that hurts me deeply to see this number and this discrepancy. Jaedong drank a little bit too deeply, delved too greedily. 115 units produced. Wasn't able to kill anything as a result. Lost all of his drones. Bam, done. Okay. More coming your way. Don't go anywhere. More Jaedong. We're back on Central Plains. Colors are different once again. And let's go ahead and see if Jaedong can beat Rain this time. Bottom left-hand corner, purple this time. It is Jaedong. Top left-hand corner, yellow this time. It is Rain. Okay, well, boy, 2-0 is not the place that Jaedong expected to be after those first two games, but I don't know, kind of feel like he still has it in him to beat Rain, at least in this game, and I think we have one, maybe two more for this Sunday series. I hear you guys about the Carbot skin. We're going to mix it up. I'm not going to keep track of the ratio, but we are going to mix it up. It's not going to be all Carbot. It's not going to be all Starcraft Remastered skin. All right, all right. I think we're cool with that. Nobody wants me to go back to the original Brood War, like regular old original console skin, right? I haven't heard any requests for that. There are a bunch of casts on my channel where that's been the case. And some of them are actually pretty darn well received. Some people are super interested and super into seeing the older Brood War, especially before Starcraft Remastered came out. But since Remastered came out, people have been pretty honestly overall receptive to it, I want to say. So again, Jaedong in the first two games went for a pretty strong macro opening, and then just got absolutely crushed by a timing attack in game number 1, and then Reaver dropped into oblivion in game number 2. So I wonder if we're going to see a bit more of a conservative opening here rather than really going for all the drones all the time in the first 5 minutes. But this is definitely a hatch first play from Jaedong. And again, as it is what looks like a series of practice games, I really expect Jaedong to do the exact same thing again, considering we are on the same map again here. It's just a matter of what Rain is going to try to do to try to shut this thing down. He's really found a lot of success 2 different ways so far. So I imagine Rain has it in him to take down the Jaedong once again. Just love the music. The Zerg music in certain parts is a lot of fun. There's your pool. We're going to see another hatch right here in a minute or so. And the probe's going to finally scout in here. Scouts the wrong location initially, but going to come in. Not be surprised by the timing on this hatch at all. And yeah, so Jaedong droning up a bit. Still no extractor. I mean, the fact that there's not an extractor here tells me it's got to be another hatchery. Probe harassing a little bit, trying to kill this drone all by himself. But yeah, there goes that third hatch drone. It's a pretty safe opening, I gotta say. Especially because you know the Protoss is probably going to do something pretty greedy as well. What is a Forge Fast Expand here? Not that he's needed to, honestly. Is that the first I don't know that we've seen a Forge this early in this series yet. I'm kind of surprised by that, but 6 o'clock expansion has been taken here by Jaedong, and then I assume an extractor is next along the lines. A couple of Zerglings out, because again, you're not going to have speed done anyway, so make a couple Zerglings to deal with these annoying probe. Not that you can exactly, because Slowlings, again, can't really keep up too well to the probe, especially if they're being juked around and controlled by a Protoss player who has not much else going on at this stage of the game. First gas taken here by Rain. Is he even bothering with the cannon? He is bothering with the cannon because he knows Lings are out because the probe can see them. Actually, a surprising number of Lings here. That is more than I expected to be made. That is 8 total. And they're cruising up across the map. But there is a Zealot in production. There is a cannon coming up. And if worst comes to worst, there will be probes that hold this line here and sacrifice their bodies to make sure that not everybody else dies. Still no gas, man. Are we seriously just Slowlings into harassment, into drones, into an extractor? Okay, so we are getting gas finally for Jaedong. Yeah, cannon comes up. Zealot about to pop right now. Look at that stupid timing. That was insane. Ah, the Lings are through. Bob did not hold the line. Bob, he thought he had it. He did not. Oh no, Lings are inside the house. That should have been an easy hold for Rain, but instead, Lings are running around. They're going to get at least a probe or 2. He doesn't want to get attacked by all the probes, is what he's trying to avoid here. But how many made it in? Only 4 out of the 8? That is a surprisingly low number. I thought for sure at least 5 or 6 would get in there. But Cannon got some kills. I guess did the Zealot even get a kill? He got 2. Dang. Okay, so he did a better job holding than I thought he would. There you go. Again, probes killed here. 2 probes down at this stage of the game is a problem for Rain. This might be exactly the break that Jaedong needs to get a win here against the Protoss player. The Lings are just like, derp, derp, derp. We don't have speed, nor is it on the way. We're just making a macro hatch, trying to get a probe or 2. The Zealot chasing us. This door is wide open, man. I kind of, is this still a probe? There's still a probe. So yeah, I mean, Jaedong, he can't send any Lings across because they will get scouted. Zealot holding the line there anyway. Does he get another kill? He sure did. So this Zealot doing a pretty good job keeping his probes alive, which is his only job right now. Keep the probes alive, dude. You're the one that let these Lings inside the house. You clean up that mess. Probe. Damaged, but another attack here by the Zealot takes down yet another Zergling. Metabolic boost at all on the way? Nah, man. Jaedong has no interest in speed for Zerglings. Maybe he's going for, like, just testing out a speedless opening on this particular map against Protoss, which, I don't know. He hasn't died in the early stages against Rain here, but it's just been more about, you know, the mid-game-ish. Like, the introduction to the mid-game has been causing him problems. Probe. Hiding inside the assimilator. Super injured anyway, though. Oh, Zealot, man. He has been making up for the fact that he left that door open. He's got 5 kills. 5 kills is not too shabby. Meanwhile, handful of Hydralisks here, recognizing there are Corsairs on the way. He's been staring at the Stargate for the last 2 minutes. He knows. Ooh, no, 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 no. Ah, one more hit on that probe. He would have killed it. Nope. Zergling dead. Blah, blah. I love zooming out. It's fun. It is fun. More slowlings, man. Slowlings heading across the map. Here is the Hydralisks are out. They're out a little bit earlier this time, which seems to bode well for the Overlord health. Again, Jaedong did get supply blocked temporarily there by the Corsair attacks in game number 2, which does not help you survive follow-up shuttle attacks. With Reavers inside them, especially. So 3 Zealots holding this line. They have learned from the failures of Bob. They are overcompensating a little bit here. And are they moving out? Yeah, Zealot legs are on the way. I mean, on the way, as in they're like 50% complete, so I don't know. Lurker aspect on the way now. Metabolic boost finally getting started for Jaedong. Spire 2. Overlord gonna go down. The Corsairs are willing to take some HP hits to make sure that goes down, and yes. But additional Hydras show up and they're forced to flee. But once again, Jaedong is supply blocked here at the 6.5 minute mark, close to 7 minutes. Zealots. Leg enhancements, still not quite there. +1 attack coming in as well. So like a +1 fast slot attack here could be interesting. Sunken Colony coming up. Jaedong recognizing how important it is to have some kind of static defense versus Zealots. And he does. Alright, so he's good. Should be good here. He's waiting for +1 to finish, as his effectiveness versus Lings increases immensely once he has +1. Speed is done for those dudes. Circling down. Once again, Slowlings trying to handle this number of Zealots is just not going to work out. They're going for it, though. They are just... Oh, they can't get the wraparound. They're trying to run by. The drones actually blocking access to that ramp, and it's working out. They are losing some drones in the process, but keeping these Zealots from doing actually what they want to do, which is get inside the main base. Boy, buying the time for the Lurkers to come in and whoop. Woo! That was gutsy. That was a really, really ghostly play there from Jaedong. Fantastic job. All Zealots die. Some drones go down. Okay, but it's not as bad as it could have been. Jaedong's actually up 60 to 56 overall supply right now, which is insane for him that he would be at that level at this stage of the game. So he's pushing, man. He's got Lurkers. He's got Lings. He recognizes most, if not all, of Rain's army was contained within that Zealot attack. He's got some Corsairs out. He's got some cannons, but otherwise, there's not much by way of we're going to kill you stuff. A High Templar is here. Probably going to change themselves into Archons, I have to assume, as I don't think I saw Storm come up. Yeah, Archons in production. Cannons on the high ground, trying to save these eggs. You can reach that one, right? I think I have to manually tell it to attack that, because it's otherwise. DTs are down. DTs are here, but Sunken on the low ground up to the high ground with Overlords protecting. Not bad. Corsairs trying to get that angle. Oh, taking one Corsair down. The Scourge do get it. But DT's taking some serious hits there too, and all actually getting wrecked. So again, Jaedong playing much, much better, having much better results here in game number 3 against Rain. Lurkers taking those eggs down, but that's too many cannons for them to deal with. There's just, you cannot set up in range of cannons with Lurkers. Maybe if it's like a 4-to-1 ratio, sure, you can take the cannon down, but not when it is a, there are 5 cannons at the top of this ramp style situation. Just, you're not breaking it. You're not breaking it with Lings. You're not breaking it with Lurkers unless you have Dark Swarm. And according to the production tab, no sign of Dark Swarm at all. Scourge getting some decent hits off on Corsairs, as they like to do. As they try to do, anyway. But yeah, unless that's a Queen's Nest, and it's not. Queen's Nest, Queen's Nest. All right, so Jaedong going for it, man. He is going for Defilers. He's going for Dark Swarm. But Zealot, Archon, High Templar, Storm style is here from Rain right now. He's taking his 3rd base. 4th base on the way from Jaedong at the same time. Jaedong doing a pretty good job staying with Rain in the economy side of things. But man, +1 Archons, pretty scary stuff as it turns out. Dark Swarm actually doesn't help much against Zealot Archon. so he's going for it anyway. Pretty good stabs there. Scourge want to catch that. Oh, they do take down the Observer. Nicely done. Beautifully done there. Observer sniped by those Scourge. Scourge trying to wait for additional, you know, Corsairs to pop out, doing some scouting information on additional gateways coming up here too. And yeah, Jaedong is happily able to expand to 4 bases, which is all he ever wanted to do as a Zerg player, without losing a base or losing a significant number of drones at the 8-minute mark. And so far, so good. I think he's hit all the checkpoints he needs to win this game. The army is fairly intimidating here for Rain, but not ridiculously overpoweringly scary, right? At least I don't think so. I'm a Zerg player and I look at this and I'm like, I could probably handle that. Seems handleable. Lurker drop attempts here from Jaedong. Different answer this time around. Gonna come up, trying to come up this ramp when there's a Lurker and a Hydra. It's a little bit difficult for Zealots to pull off here, especially if you have to fight through eggs the whole time. Look at this egg blocking the ramp. Hey, why don't you come up here to my death trap, into my choke of doom. Lurker drop gonna show up somewhere. There's a cannon, but Lurker dropping right here is actually pretty effective, and I think that's what Jaedong is gonna go for here. These Scourge are still allowed to just hang out. Lurkers brewing in, and in range of a cannon. Remember what I said about being in range of a cannon? And how you shouldn't do that? There we go. Picking up, killing a couple probes, and getting the heck on out of there. That's what we're talking about. Overlord does have some Lurkers in it, getting stabbed, though, and murdered by an Archon. Oh, saved by the fact the Archon was not interested in actually chasing that Overlord down. Should have. There were 2 Lurkers inside, man. Zealots. Pick it up. Pick it up. Picked it up. And retreating. So, good responses here from Rain for this harassment. That Corsair is going to try to kill that Overlord as best as it can. It is carrying 2 Lurkers. It is very precious cargo for Jaedong right now. He doesn't want to lose it. And again, it takes about 42 hits from a Corsair to kill an Overlord. He's already previously bruised, though. Man, I almost would unload them. Wow, I got to unload them, like, now. Do it. Do it, Jaedong. Unload him. Man, he's not going to unload. Put him in a healthier Overlord, man. Lurker's brewing on this high ground again. And once again, Rain has shown him the ability to handle this. He has. And I mean, again, 2 Lurkers harassing a mineral line, bad. 2 Lurkers harassing an assimilator and a cybernetics core, not as big of a deal. Really, the damage done here is just, it's fine, I guess. Storm time. You can generally tell where they are, right? Well, there's the Observer now anyway. So he's going to try to bait a Storm out. I think he was trying to bait a Storm and then pick up with the Overlord. That would have been cool. That would have been nice. Another hatchery. Jaedong is feeling too comfortable, Rain. You cannot let him feel this comfortable. That is when bad things happen to you. As the game goes on longer and longer here, it is 147 and 122 supply. Yes, the Protoss player is up. Traditionally, that's what we're looking at. Right now, Jaedong is fine. Jaedong is healthily and happily on many, many bases. This hatchery does just random happen chance get scouted. Or not scouted at all by the Protoss army, even though they are within spitting distance of it. Are you seriously? Okay. Well, they could have taken a hatch for free there, but instead they're going to attack the natural base. Which, again, they could have killed that hatchery and killed the natural base. Boy, they're going to get this. They're going to get the assimilator and the cybernetics core. They're going to be allowed so many shots. Meanwhile, Rain going for the full frontal assault. This is the method. He has so many Dragoons all of a sudden. Where did this army come from? Where is the Dark Swarm? Nowhere. The Dark Swarm does not exist, and I think this is another death for Jaedong all of a sudden. Huge army shows up out of nowhere. Even if there was Dark Swarm, I think just the sheer amount of storm here. Oh, Jaedong was away from home. He was... Oh! Oh, the sound of ultimate suffering. Did you see those storms? Hey, look, the cybernetics core is dead. Hey, look, there's some harassment at this natural. That's pretty nice, but there's your GG. It was so bad. Oh, incredible. I just... Wow. Okay. Storm. Storm's real good, guys. Jaedong was trying to drop. He was trying to drop up here. He got caught with his pants down. His army was not defending his natural base. And like in a wild attempt to save his natural, he dropped everything here. It got stormed into oblivion. And that was it. That was your game right there. 26 kill Archon, by the way. Some pretty efficient 300 gas unit there. I mean, one day I'd like to see an Ultralisk that has 26 kills. I'm just saying. Just like one. It's all at a pro level. Cost efficiency. Man, Jaedong, he had it. He was in such a great spot there. But again, keep going back to Defilers. Maybe Plague. Maybe you Plague this heavily gateway army. The Dragoons are easier to kill. The Zealots are easier to kill. You can handle the Archons after that. But yeah, because Lurkers in general, if they just get stormed to death, they're going to get stormed to death. In a defensive situation, yeah. I also got to feel like Jaedong maybe should have just left this base. Should have sacrificed it. Again, he had other bases to mine from here. He had this one that he magically was allowed to hang on to. So maybe he retreats. Because coming up this ramp is not something you want to do, I don't think, if you're Rain. And the entire army, instead of dropping here, like sneaks around the backside, drops up here, holds a concave at the top of this ramp, puts Lurkers down. And then sure, you lost your natural, but you're not dead. Maybe he just recognized overall the base count was problematic for him if he tried, so. Woo! Final score comes down to 73,000 for Rain and 68,000 for Jaedong. This is not a happy day for Zergs, I can tell you that much. Especially Jaedong fans. The Jaedong fans clicking on this and seeing what this is are like, what? Why would you make me watch this, Falcon? It's a fine and it's a fair question. Okay, there's one more game. I think we have one more game on a different map where Jaedong has the chance to win against Rain here. But by golly, Rain is kicking butt and taking names thus far, and I am just impressed as all get out. So, game number 4, Jaedong currently losing 0-3. Coming at you, don't go anywhere. Benzene. Last hope for Jaedong fans. Woo! Man, that last game is still affecting me. All right, top right-hand corner of Benzene is the Teal Zerg player, Jaedong. And in the bottom left, we got Rain. He's red this time around. I guess let's investigate Benzene just a little bit here. Benzene. Yeah, some good games on this map we've seen recently, haven't we? Good stuff with Jaedong, too, for some reason. Jaedong versus Sky. I think we've had a couple on this map. Would have been a lot of fun to watch. I mean, it's such a busy map. Look at all this. Look at all this just like... I mean, this could just be one giant mass of inaccessible stuff, but there's little gaps in here instead. It makes you feel like you can get in there with a probe or something, but you can't. That is completely all walled off. I guess, no, you can't get in there either. That is not passable. Again, you have these little generators along the left side that allow access to your main base if you sneak around, right? So you come in here, you go up this ramp, or you come up this way. Either way, you come around down. It's an easy access to your opponent's main, which, again, good players will keep an eye on just to make sure they don't get surprised by. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Overlord placed over there, or maybe a pylon placed on the other side of the map and the other power generator to allow Rain to keep an eye and keep tabs on that one. Hey, you know we got merch. Falcon Paladin merch available. Link in the description. Just search Shopify and Falcon Paladin for things like hoodies and t-shirts and mugs and hats and beanies and all sorts of good stuff like that. Anything you want for merch is available if and you want to buy it. If you don't, that's totally fine too. Okay, so let's see if Jaedong is going to go for that same build. We're on a different map, so I think that mixes things up just a little bit here as to exactly what he wants to try to do. An APM of about 440 right now for Jaedong, which, okie doke, I'm down with that. And yep, there's your hatch, which the probe did end up, I'm not sure if the drone was hiding or what, but the probe, I don't think even tried to stop that, or Jaedong easily got it down even with the probe trying to scout it. Or the probe was late, I guess that's a possibility, but man, it sure seems like the probe was there when that was attempted. So this time, drone actually getting some shots off on this probe. Jaedong does not want it around. There's your pool. And this is a different map, so I don't think there's an easily accessible third base here to take for Jaedong, yet he's not getting the extractor. So this, once again, feels very much like the same build that we saw in games 1, 2, and 3 between these two players. But still no extractor, man. I am watching, and there's your... That is, feels like very much a third hatch. Third hatch drone coming along this way. Doo -doo 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 -doo. Hey, look, an entire base just for me. Even with a Vespine geyser. And there it is. Okay, man. So actually gassed up here before the hatch. But just a little bit. I think just from the sheer distance and the sheer amount of travel it takes to get down here. That was that timing, but... Anyway, Forge Expand here from the Protoss player. I don't know whether to expect Ling aggression once again. I don't see it, really. One set of Zerglings in production is really not going to get much done. Yeah, cannon coming up. Cybernetics core on the way from the Protoss. So nothing too insane here from either of these players. We're just macroing up quite nicely. Just enjoying a leisurely macroing up session, which if you've ever been in a macroing up session, you know it's stressful. Because you're like, okay, there's no excuses for this. I should be able to macro up as well as a professional player. I'm not being harassed. I don't have to worry about anything coming to kill me for the next couple minutes. I'm going to macro, and then you get out macro by your opponent when they're not being bothered, and it's like, I'm so bad at this game. Why am I so bad? And then you have to work on your macro. It's a bad feeling is what it is. All right, this probe has been scouting for what feels like the whole darn game. Effectively has been. Sees the lair timing. It's going to go ahead and just do a quick check on this Vespine geyser while the probe is around before it heads on home. Metabolic boost on the way a little bit earlier for Jaedong this game than we've seen previously. Actually, there is a Zealot on the way just in case some Lings sneak across the map and want to cause some mayhem. He's got a Zealot ready to go. Again, I worry about this gap, though. I worry that Lings can sneak through that because I thought the gap was narrow enough for a Zealot to hold it in the last game, and by golly, that was not the case at all. Probe Scouts sees the third base. Really no surprise there at all from Jaedong either. Stargate opening once again from Rain. Really seems to prefer this opening, at least in this practice session against Jaedong. And the lair is just about done, which I assume is just going to be for a Spire based on the one gas. We're going to get some Scourge to counter the Corsairs. So nothing too nuts here in the first early stages of this game. Couple Zealots holding the line. Yeah, see, based on they can stand shoulder to shoulder like that, it really feels like things could slip through. Especially if there were enough of them. So, smart, getting two Zealots in there holding that line. It's a very weird area to wall off. Any map that has a weird wall-off distance as your natural is not going to be very favored by players. And that's why we don't see Benzene very much, I feel like. That's one of the reasons. Is the it's a weird wall-off for Protoss and for Terran. So, Zerglings, they do have speed. Speed is done, as you can see how zippy they are now. Zip, zip, zip. They're not just, hopping, they're actually running now. Still, webbed feet. Who on earth gave Zerglings webbed feet? Why does that help them at all? Why are they like the fastest units in the game with webbed feet? It makes no sense. You ever seen a duck try to run on land? They're not fast. They're not zippy at all. Spire coming up. Another macro hatch here. Macro hatch a little bit later than we've seen previously in games. Another macro hatch at the third base here from Jaedong too. So traditionally what we should see here is a big Zealot attack or Corsairs. And this time around, it looks like it's going to be Corsairs. Another Robotics Bay coming on in from Rain. Feels like yet another attempt at Shuttle Reaver drops. And we will see how Jaedong can respond to this situation. As I believe that Jaedong can fly. Hydralisk Den on the way. This Overlord getting caught out. Where are the Scourge? Scourge are in production, but I don't know if they're going to get there in time to save this Overlord because he's already down to 46 HP. Bam. First kill. First blood. I think that was the first blood for the game. That could be kind of fun to keep track of, right? This first blood. Who gets the first kill in a game of Starcraft Brood War? Because that was it right there. I don't think anything else has died. The Lings have very smartly not run into range of these Zealots or this cannon. I think the probe, the probe made it all the way home that was scouting, and the Scourge haven't killed anything yet either, so. Yep, Overlord, first casualty of this war known as Starcraft. Corsairs hanging out by this cannon. Flying in circles around a cannon is a great way to kill a million Scourge if your opponent's not paying attention. And yeah, these are just incredibly well protected. The Scourge are like, cannons. Hate cannons, and there's your pylon to make sure this generator doesn't go down. And this generator not even really being watched. I guess the fact that, well, Overlord is temporarily watching this ramp right now, but coming through here to get to the power generator is really difficult. Couple Scourge, once again, staying out of range, trying to get a nice... Ooh, one explosion, but not enough to kill a Corsair. That's probably a win from Rain. Gotta say, Scourge are gas, and really, gas units are so important for Zerg. Losing gas for effectively 0 damage, for literally 0 damage, is bad. So Jaedong doesn't want to lose even this single Scourge. Wow, got it down. How? It must have slowed down, because the flight speeds are exactly the same for Corsairs and Scourge. I looked it up. I felt like for Scourge is a little bit faster, but then somebody said, nah, check the stats, and I was like, oh, you're right. Wikipedia says they have the exact same move speed. Another macro hatch from Jaedong. So he is going big time macro style. He is down 60 to 72 overall supply, but again, that's okay at the 8, 9, 10 minute mark. If you're still that behind on overall supply by like the 13, 14, 15 minute mark, you are bad. So, or just too much damage in the first few minutes of the game. One of those two. Not a good sign, is all I'm trying to say. Okay, so a lot of Hydras here. Again, not generally super great versus Reavers, but if you can kill the shuttles before the Reavers actually get dropped, then you're golden. So there is our shuttle. It's got 2 Zealots and a Reaver inside it. They've got a Corsair Escort. That speed upgrade for shuttles looks like it's done because that is a zippy shuttle here, and they're going for it, man. They are going, but there are Hydras waiting. So we'll see. This is going to be a game of cat and mouse. Can the Hydras find the shuttles? Oh gosh, if he gets that shuttle, he wants to. Nope, no connections at all. The Corsairs are specifically here to make sure that Scourge don't pick this shuttle out of the sky. So far, so good. 4 Dark Templar in production from Rain, going for Zealot legs. Hydras, and more Hydras, including additional missile attack upgrades from Jaedong right now. So here goes nothing. We getting in here? He's trying to find an area to drop here. Hydras. I'm not sure they are focusing down the shuttle there necessarily, as it's not injured at all. Nope, not at all. Trying to unload. He does get the unload. Does he get the Reaver shot? No, it fizzles harmlessly. God, that's the thing. Scarab shots are hit and miss. If they hit, they're incredible. If they miss, they're garbage. That shuttle head drop, it's just nothing. No damage at all. The Scarab eventually times out and just harmlessly explodes, which is misleading. I kind of feel like they should have programmed it to actually just, like, not explode. You know what I mean? Like, if instead it had just been, like, it just disappears, instead of making the explosion sound. Because it makes the explosion sound, and you're like, everything died, but then nothing died. It's very strange. Corsairs flying directly over Hydralisk, taking serious shots, but not going down because they're tanky, because they're Protoss units. Hydra count. This looks like a pretty darn big swarm here from Jaedong. He is... Wow, he is feeling his oats today. +1 attack on these dudes. The Zealots are sitting on +1 attack as well. That was a decent spread on these Hydras. Not enough. Oh, the Reaver does get picked off. That Scarab. Oh, that one explodes with the first one harmlessly there. And suddenly, Rain is in a horrible spot. This is so many Hydralisks out of Jaedong. I think he might just have it. Look at him pushing his just right down the throat of Rain here. Hydras are going down, but the Reaver's down, and that might be the hopes. Meanwhile, DT's dropping inside the main base of Jaedong. Good reaction time on that drone pull, but he can't defend against this many Hydras coming on in. Taking down that robotics facility would be really big for him, too. He doesn't have more units in these, does he? He doesn't. They're just there to mess up the targeting of the Protoss units. DTs are going to take down the lair, which is okay. The Corsairs can't help this battle at all. They can't attack ground units whatsoever, which is the problem with making a lot of Corsairs. Nexus down, and I think that's it for Rain. He can't lose an entire base here. Bam! Rain taps out. DTs get sniped at the main, saving the lair with all of 43 HP, and Jaedong does get the victory, finally, in game number 4 here, which... Woo-wee! That was amazing. Wow, that is exactly what we're looking at here, all you Jaedong fans. You're looking for a Jaedong win, and it was not was it overwhelming? The question is, if the DT snipe the lair, does Rain stay in the game? Because it's effectively, it is a 1 base versus a 2 base situation at that point. He already took down, is that the Spire? The Spire got sniped already, so you're looking at a mass Hydra play, trying to get up this ramp. But I think this is the only robotics facility, so that's going to be dead here in just a second. It means you can't have Reavers, which means all you can try to hold this with are... Actually, hang on. He does have another robotics facility because a Reaver's in production somewhere else. It's got to be up here. Here, I want to real quick see what exists at this stage of the game. Okay, there's the robotics bay. Robotics facility. What the what? Is he must be building it in here. He is. Okay, so it just didn't show up at the end of the game. So that is his only robotics facility. So he can make a ton of zealots and try to hold here against a million Hydralisks. He can make some Dragoons. That's not going to work very well either. Did he have Storm? I don't think he had Storm. I think he forewent that to go for the Reaver drops, which did not do as much as he wanted to. The DT is getting some stuff done, which is nice. But eventually, the lair does end up getting saved by a ton of Hydras. Overlord's getting destroyed left and right here by the Corsairs, but they can't do anything to help with this onslaught coming in. And yeah, man, Jaedong, good timing there. Showed up, dealt with the Reavers, dealt with the Reaver drops really well, and then just kind of went for it, man. That was a lot of Hydralisks. A bunch of them are dead, but that's a lot. There's no Storm. There's no more Reavers remaining, and that was your ball game. So nicely done. Jaedong gets that win for a happy ending note for those Zerg fans watching today. 38,000 points for Rain, 36,000 for Jaedong. So again, a situation where the losing player actually gets more points overall just by killing stuff, right? 35 Zerg units went down, only 17 Protoss units went down, but all the Reavers were included in that. All the DTs were included in that. And if you kill the big ticket items and make 142 units to 79 of your opponent, it'll work out in the end. Structures raised here, 3 by Jaedong, 0 by Rain. What? He raised a, he got a Spire. Maybe because I ended it before it was over, I didn't count that. That makes more sense. And then overall, more, wow, is that more across the board here for Rain? It sure is. Jeez. More gas mined, more minerals mined, and more total spent for Rain. Not by a lot in any of these categories, but a pretty significant number anyway. Woo! All right. Well, Jaedong gets the win in the final game there with a mass Hydralisk attack with +1 done there. Dealt with the Reavers. It took some really supreme micro to make that happen, but did it in the end. And that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of Starcraft Brood War Remastered and a bit of a series for your Sunday series here today. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.